Hi everybody, welcome back to Critical Mass. Well, Paul, it's time for you to give me your list of your favorite movies of all time.
All time.
You went with Mark, you gave him your TV shows. Did any of ours line up?
I don't know what your list is.
So Mark was no help.
No.
Okay.
He said he gave me his Mandalorian was one of his things, but that's all.
Mark. All right. So, top 10 list. I'll tell you if it's any of your movies are on ours right after this. All right, Paul. Best movies of all time.
All time in order.
And you are old. A lot of people think you're like 20, and he's not. He's not 20. He's just short. All right, Paul, give me your top 10 favorite movies of all time, and I'll let you know if they're on either of our other lists.
Okay, to qualify this again, it's not the best movies.
No.
It's my favorite movies.
Your favorite movies, that's right. Movies are personal. It doesn't. You don't have to love a movie that everyone else loves.
No,
So-
and mine, it seems that my favorite things, nobody else likes. So, but they're pretty mainstream. So number 10, I'm going to start 1987, The Princess Bride.
Oh,
Is there a better comedy than The Princess Bride?
yes.
I don't think.
But I
Inconceivable.
I will also say that Princess Bride is a pretty darn good movie. Yes.
Okay, so it
Absolutely.
belongs. It
belongs
has to
on-
belong on a list somewhere.
Sure. I'll go for that. Princess Bride.
In '86, my number 9 is Top Gun.
I love Top Gun. I never brought Top Gun up.
Top Gun, Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer. That's where I got my man crush on Tom Cruise with Top Gun, and the music
And he's
in there.
never looked back.
The music in there is just too much. Kenny Loggins, and then Take My Breath Away.
And it's a fighting war movie without the fighting, really. Like, they're practicing
Yeah.
for most of it. And it's still thrilling. So they good job on that. Absolutely.
Number 8, The Karate Kid,
Karate Kid.
the original.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
Ralph.
Karate Kid 4?
No.
No?
Pat Morita, Ralph Macchio, Elizabeth Shue,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, like, it was like one of those just perfect movies. I thought, like, watching it now, it's a little bit long at points, but I loved it. Like, and then at the end, it's such a corny move that he does to win the tournament, but it's still iconic.
It's the dumbest move you could possibly do in an actual fight.
Yeah.
But it was memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, whenever anyone is pretending to fight with their friend or anything else, it was whoa,
Yeah.
every single person. And that's why the remake of The Karate Kid didn't do so well, because their move was a triple Salchow flip that no one in the world can do.
I think this movie was the reason I joined karate when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
probably, yeah. I bet you a lot of other kids felt the same way, so.
Number 7, I'm going to get some heat for this because
Uh-oh.
everybody hates it, apparently, even though it made almost the most money ever. Avatar.
I liked Avatar. Nothing wrong with that.
Like, it had Sam Worthington, Sigourney Weaver, Zoe Saldana,
Yep.
and just the mythology of the natives of the planet. I thought it was awesome. Some of the acting was a little bit, but the visuals, it was the first time they came up with
big
that
3D,
big 3D
movie,
thing.
absolutely.
And it had, at the time, the world wasn't overcome with all this SJW stuff. And so when it gave you these messages of environmentalism and colonialism, it meant something.
And it was
right?
part of the story. A lot of people complain about the well, it's just Fern Gully.
Yeah, or Dances with Wolves. Or,
And you know what? Every movie can be brought back to a movie that was made 20 years ago, 40 years ago. One of my favorite movies was Magnificent Seven, which is a ripoff of The Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, throw that out. The movie on a whole, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
the battle at the end was
Yeah.
pretty intense. I loved the whole thing with the big tree.
The Tree of Life.
The Tree of Life,
Yep.
and then that dies, and yeah, it was really good.
Absolutely. No, nothing. I don't disagree with anything on your list so far.
Number 6, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
I knew he was going to put that in. I knew he was going to put that one in.
Lots of people say the first movie. Lots of people say the third movie, Return of the King.
No.
I say the Two Towers
Absolutely, the Two Towers. So that's
because
three.
the whole siege of Helm's Deep was just incredible. There are a couple of CGI things you didn't like, but as a whole, I thought it was the best battle movie except for another movie on my list.
I know what one that is too. I can predict that one. All right.
Number 5, Matrix.
Matrix. Mark had that on his list.
I think this was the movie of a generation. Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, just the whole inside the computer thing, and you had the backwards move and everything in slow motion. Then they started jumping up in the air, and then they do the 360 camera around them. It was just incredible at the time, and I'll never forget that movie.
If only the writers could have ever done anything like that again for anything they've ever done.
Yeah.
They haven't done any, like, the next 2 movies were not nearly as good.
And then they came out with Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas and Jupiter Ascending, and come on. Oh.
But
if we ever talk about our worst movies of all time, they might be listed a couple times.
this started the whole craze with the black trench coat.
Oh yeah, I had one. I was super
No, you
good.
didn't.
I did. One day I'll tell you all my outfits that I've had as a kid. I had the roller skating suspenders when I was a kid. I had the Miami Vice suit when I was a kid.
I kind of did that. Yeah.
And I also had the trench coat. I'm a trendsetter.
That's cringe.
I'm a trend follower, I guess.
Number 4, WALL-E.
Okay? All
Out of
right.
all the Pixar movies, I know Mark has a problem with
It's
this.
no Lion King.
Of all the Pixar movies,
Okay.
okay, this was awesome. That you could tell a romance with just little cartoon robots, with barely anything being spoken other than names.
Very little dialogue, if any, until I get to the ship. Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of comedy with the different kinds of robots on the ship. It was just awesome. I could watch that over and over again.
Okay.
Number 3, 300.
300.
Zack Snyder directed Gerard Butler in the Battle of Thermopylae or something, and it's done in such a way that they do fast and slow motion. They play with the color palette, so there's lots of reds and blacks, and it's told in a way that it's a storyteller trying to pump up the troops for battle, and he's exaggerating all the different things that may have or may not have happened, and just another, I think, a movie of a generation that nobody ever talks about.
It's like the old fish story. Every time you tell it, it gets bigger and bigger. The fish suddenly becomes a shark and then a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I did like that part of it.
Number 2, of course, is probably on all 3 of our lists, or maybe not yours. Empire Strikes Back.
I have Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay, I think I like Empire Strikes Back not only for the twist where Darth Vader is Luke's father, but also because of the big Battle of Hoth at the beginning. Right now, when you watch it, it doesn't age well, but at the time, with the big AT-ATs, I thought that was awesome. And then the introduction of Yoda, I thought that was comical.
Okay.
And number 1,
Number 1.
did you see my list?
No?
No? What do you think my number 1 is?
Oh, it's got to be Braveheart.
It's Braveheart.
You haven't mentioned the battle yet, so it had to be Braveheart.
Okay, I think one of our trivia questions was the first massive land battle in a movie or something, the biggest one, and it was in Braveheart. Mel Gibson, I thought, although it's not true to history, it's another fantastical tale of William Wallace, but I thought it was just epic, and it sent me into a Celtic craze for my university years. I went to my friend's wedding dressed in a kilt with a long wig. Okay, that's how Celtic-y I was at the time.
I was in a leather coat and looked nice. He was in a skirt with his friend.
And my other ones, my favorite surprise movie was The Fifth Element. My favorite musical was Grease. Favorite traditional animation, The Lion King.
Lion King.
Favorite movie to watch with my wife, Miss Congeniality. And
1 or 2?
1.
Oh, okay.
And the
Close call.
movie, I think, is the perfect movie. Is the perfect directed movie. 4 quadrants, perfect acting, perfect story, is Back to the Future.
That's Mark's. One of Mark's.
So, about my list, what do you think?
I have no problem. See, the problem is, they're all great movies. It's hard to find a fault with any of the movies on any of our lists.
I think you're going to say my weakest link is probably WALL-E.
I don't know. For me, it might be The Matrix myself.
You don't like The Matrix?
I like The Matrix, but, like, there's so many other, like, as far as acting in that is concerned, there are other movies out there that are even greater. But I've seen more movies than you have. I have another 12 years of movies on you.
Well, nothing before The Matrix is better than The Matrix.
Yeah.
I heard you say Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah. We have. That's Mark's list. Oh, there's no good there. But no, like I have the original Magnificent Seven, which is a much better, like a really good drama. And Jaws. And
I understand Jaws came first and people liked it and it was the first blockbuster, but I would watch The Matrix 30,000 times before watching Jaws again.
you have to realize what Jaws was at the time as well.
I guess, yeah, what
right?
it meant to you at the time. Yeah.
People were afraid to go in the water after watching that. Like terrified.
I'm afraid to go inside a computer.
Yeah, yeah. You just admit it. You take the blue pill in a second. Well, there's Paul's list. What do you guys think? Is it anywhere compared to our lists? You know what? It's hard to say that any of these are bad choices because they're all good movies in their own way, and they all affect each of us individually. One person might watch The Matrix, think it's the best movie ever. Another one might watch Rocky and think it's the best movie ever. It all depends on what you're really into and what your criteria is for good movies. Well, let us know. Did we mention anything or did we forget anything? Tell us what we forgot. Tell us your favorite movie of all time that we might not have mentioned.
Trish, not a miniseries. It has to be a movie.
Movie. And until next time, we'll see you on the channel.